everyone, welcome back. So here's something you don't hear every day. The US just had its weakest jobs report since the pandemic recovery, and that's raising some very real questions about President Trump's economy. In August, only 22,000 jobs were added, way below what was expected, and some earlier numbers were even revised down into negative territory. That means for the first time since late 2020, we're looking at job losses again. And unemployment has now ticked up to 4.3%, the highest it's been since 2021. What's more, youth unemployment is spiking too, with more than 1 in 10 young people struggling to find work. So yeah, these numbers aren't just statistics, they're signals about where the economy might be heading, and maybe even warnings for all of us. Stick with me, because I'll walk you through what's going on, why it matters, and how it could affect you and your family in the months ahead. Before we go further, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do you feel like it's getting harder to find work in your area? Or do you think things are still steady where you live? Drop a quick thought below. I read through them, and it really helps us build this conversation together. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss these updates. Now, let's talk about what's behind these numbers. President Trump came into office promising to rebuild American manufacturing and put workers first. But right now, manufacturing is actually shrinking. In August alone, the sector lost 12,000 jobs, and since spring, over 40,000 jobs have disappeared. A lot of this is tied to tariffs. Remember, tariffs were meant to protect US jobs by making imports more expensive, but for many companies, they've turned into higher costs that they just can't absorb. Some are laying off staff, some are raising prices, and some are delaying new investments altogether. One example is a small California company that makes Halloween masks. They were hit with nearly $400,000 in tariff costs this year. To survive, they had to raise prices by 15% and let go of a quarter of their staff. The co-founder said it was one of the hardest days of his life. And this is a story being repeated in different ways across the country. So, while the idea was to bring jobs back, the reality is many businesses are facing heavier burdens instead. Another thing to consider is immigration policy. The administration has tightened rules and increased enforcement, aiming to reduce competition for American workers. But in construction, for example, where immigrant labor has been critical, jobs are actually disappearing. In August, construction lost 7,000 positions, partly because companies can't find enough workers to fill those roles. That shortage slows down projects, raises costs, and sometimes forces companies to scale back. So even though the intention was to create opportunities, the actual effect is a shrinking workforce. Besides that, the federal government itself cut 15,000 jobs in August, and more than 150,000 buyouts are expected to take effect later this year. For many communities where federal work is a major source of stability, that's going to be a real shock. Some experts are even warning that if these trends continue, we could see hiring freezes spread into other industries like retail and healthcare, which usually hold up better in slowdowns. And when those sectors start showing cracks too, that's when everyday families begin to feel the squeeze more directly. What's more, young people are being hit especially hard. Unemployment among those aged 16 to 24 is now over 10%, which is more than double the national average. And it's not just teens or workers without college degrees. Even college graduates under 25 are struggling with almost a 10% unemployment rate. Some experts say artificial intelligence is partly to blame. Entry-level jobs that once gave young workers a foot in the door are now being automated, leaving fewer chances to start a career. Now, you might be wondering, what about the government's own numbers? Well, that's another piece of the story. After last month's disappointing report, President Trump actually fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, accusing her of giving out false data. He then nominated someone closely aligned with his administration, who has suggested changing how often we even see jobs reports. Instead of monthly updates, they floated the idea of quarterly reports. Economists warn this could make it harder to spot problems early and adjust policy in time. And guess what? Even some of Trump's closest economic allies admit the August numbers were disappointing. But instead of pointing to tariffs or immigration policy, they're blaming the Federal Reserve, saying high interest rates are the real problem. Which brings us to the Fed. You see, inflation has cooled a bit, but with job growth slowing, the Fed is under a lot of pressure to cut interest rates, possibly by a full percentage point over the next year. That could help stimulate hiring. But as one strategist put it, celebrating rate cuts is like celebrating an ambulance showing up quickly, while forgetting why you needed the ambulance in the first place. So then, what does this all mean for everyday people? Well, if you're looking for work, you may notice fewer openings and more competition. If you're young and just starting out, it might take longer to land a stable job, and wages might not be as strong as you hoped. If you're already employed, you may feel nervous about your company cutting back, or you might see prices creeping up as businesses pass along costs from tariffs. And if you're retired or nearing retirement, economic uncertainty like this can weigh on the markets and on savings. Another thing to think about is public opinion. Surveys show that more than 60% of Americans now expect unemployment to rise over the next year, and that's one of the bleakest readings in decades. When people feel nervous, they spend less, and that can slow the economy even further. It becomes a cycle that's hard to break without strong leadership and clear policy. You see, President Trump's economic vision is bold, but bold moves often bring big risks. Tariffs, immigration limits, tax cuts, and spending boosts were meant to reshape the system. But at this moment, the outcomes don't feel like a win for many households. Some say this is just the short-term pain needed for long-term gain. Others feel like the pain is all too real and the gains are nowhere in sight. So the bigger question is, are we at a turning point? Is this just a bump in the road, or the start of something more serious? History shows us that weak job growth often comes before recessions, but it can also reverse if businesses regain confidence. The next few months will tell us a lot about which path we're heading down. Speaking of which, I want to hear your perspective. Do you think the current policies are worth the trade-offs? Or do you feel like the economy is slipping in the wrong direction? Share your thoughts below. I think a lot of people here will relate to what you've been experiencing. At the end of the day, jobs data isn't just numbers on a page. It's a reflection of people's lives. When fewer jobs are created, it means families struggle, young people delay their plans, and communities face uncertainty. That's why this story matters so much. And that's why staying informed, asking questions, and holding leaders accountable is something we can all do together. So keep an eye on the headlines and keep talking about how these changes are affecting you. And if you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more updates. There's a lot more to cover in the weeks ahead, and what I'll show you next might surprise you.